Okay, as usual, we've got a lot to cover, but, hey Ricky, we have prayer, announcement. I'm sure we've got a few questions that we'll go over, and then we'll have further discussion around phase one. So let's start out with announcements. Today we're going to announce the winners of last semester. So I had the opportunity to talk to the judges yesterday, and every one of them said, hands down, last semester had the best ideas that they've had to judge. And so we went through all of them, and this semester is a little bit different. They decided that for the runner-ups, in previous semesters when we've had runner-ups, we've given out iPads to the runner-ups. But since the company is investing heavily in the reskinning, they said that instead of doing runner-ups where you get a prize, you can do a joint venture agreement with the company, and there won't be an iPad because a lot of money comes into the class. So these are those that have runner-up. So Reef for his Fizzle app. Justin for his video game that he came up with. Nace, again, but this time he did not win, for his LDS game, LDS Shakedown. And Leslie for LDS Match. Now, on this note, this is totally up to you guys. If you don't want to do this, that's fine. But normally the process to get a project and do a joint venture agreement is pretty tedious, and you guys just sidestepped a lot of stuff. So that's up to you. Come talk to me afterwards, and I'll just kind of let you know the particulars around it. Now for the winner of last semester's competition is Kaiyu. So Kaiyu, actually, this is a great example of how someone who's not in the class can still win. So as long as you take the course, you can enter in every single semester. So that's how Nace was able to win twice, because the semester before last, he wasn't in and he entered. So just to keep that in mind, even if you graduate and you're like, you know, I think I have a really good idea that I'd like to do, I'm going to enter. So just taking this class, for as long as we have the contest, and probably that I'm a part of it, you can participate.
Can we go with our idea?
What's that? Yeah, Kaiyu, if you...
So my idea, which I'm glad Paul didn't let die and kept encouraging me to do, was I'm all about preservation of stories and that kind of thing. And so one issue that I know a lot of us face is we take a lot of video on our phone and other devices, but then our phone breaks, or we didn't upload it to our computer, or we upgrade, and it just gets lost. It's not like a film reel or a VHS tape that we can just store in our closet forever and ever and ever. So my app actually takes your videos, uploads it to a media platform such as YouTube or Vimeo, and then it connects a QR code to that video that you can download and use it in scrapbooks, or you can print it out, put it anywhere, and basically it gives you kind of like a hard copy of your videos that you can physically keep so they don't get lost. That's the big idea.
What the judges really liked about our idea is gapping the bridge between putting pictures, like scrapbooking stuff, that you can pull stuff out from the 1920s and have those pictures. But those pictures rarely connect to videos. So part of our idea is where the QR code or the new technology that Apple, well, it's not new, but that Apple has the NFC, near field communication. You can just put it with the picture and be able to pull up the video while you're looking at the picture as well. So congratulations all to everyone that participated. Like I said, in fact, there's, if you guys would like feedback on what the judges said, come talk to me and I will have feedback on your ideas. And that there's a couple judges that gave just their thoughts around it. So again, congrats. Let me know if you guys have any questions. On the runner-ups, come talk to me if you're interested, okay? All right. Again, congratulations, guys. All right. Okay, so with that said, now that you guys have seen in action the competition, we have some decisions to make. So particularly since the company has decided, hey, we'll still do runner-ups, but we're not going to do prizes, I talked to them and said, I'd like to give something more to the class. And they said, okay, you can do that, but you cannot exceed how much we've allocated of the $2,500 for the prize. So I'm going to take this to a vote for you guys, and you guys can decide whether you want to do this, but this is my proposition to you. One thing that students really struggle with is coming up with a good idea and then not getting anything other than a grade for it. You guys don't get the 70-30 on it because the company pays for everything if you're doing it through reflective practices. And what I proposed to them, and they were fine with, and I proposed to you, and see if you guys want to do it, is have a competition within the class on not only who can come up with the best idea of the app you're reskinning. So this is not your final. Just delete the final out right now. You're not thinking about the final. This is the app you're building in class. Who can come up with the best idea and who can get it developed, not necessarily the quickest. In order to be judged, what I'd like to have is at the end of the semester, everyone that is able to view their app on a phone. So that's not necessarily mean that it has to be in the App Store. That just means your developer said, here is a push to your phone and you can view it. And all those that get to that point will be judged and win a prize. And the whole reason why I'm gamifying this for you guys is when you guys get to the development side, it's easy to not stay on top of the developer and say, get it done, get it done, get it done. But if you do, that if you have an incentive there, and maybe you say, oh, I don't know if my idea is that great. I think Reef's idea is phenomenal, but Reef doesn't get it published. It doesn't get judged. So you guys have that, or you guys can, this is an open dialogue here. If you guys want to take part of the prize money for the contest and open it up for you guys, I'm totally open for that. And obviously, since none of you know who the winner is going to be at the end of this semester, I'm sure whoever wins will be like, I wish I had just kept all the money for $2,500. But it allows for you guys to get additional benefit out of it. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? This is different from the final. So you have the final and you have the reskinning project. This is the reskinning project. I'm trying to give you guys something in addition to the final. But we'd have to pull funds from the final contest. Do you guys care? You want to just keep it on the final? Okay. Okay, so you can't, the school won't let us just give you cash. So we could do like an iPad or whatever you want. How much do you, Reef? Yeah, it is possible, but it is unlikely. So it would be nice to get it into the App Store, but there's so much testing that we've got to do it. But you can get it pushed. And that is my biggest concern, is to get it visible so it can be tested.
Because I think a cool way, maybe in the future, because a lot of these competitions are pretty subjective, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the downloads are pretty easy.
Yeah.
If you make downloads,
it would be nice, but it would be very, very difficult because you'd have to give it time for the downloads. Yeah, I would love that because that means the project's done. But this is to really just keep, to have that one that you still can get something for your idea, that it's a solid idea, and that you're staying with the developers.
Could you repeat that proposition? Sorry, I'm trying to reconcile and I wasn't.
No, you're fine. I do the same thing. So I'm proposing that we have a second contest. The second contest is around the app you're building in class. And that contest is whoever can get their app to development and have it pushed, meaning so you can see it on your phone, can have it judged as one of the best apps in the class. And whoever wins, and what I'll do is I'll take it out, I don't like being the judge because I like giving you guys as much feedback as possible. I'll take it to the computer science teachers, CIS, and have them select or have a panel, something like that. And then whoever wins can win an iPad or something along those lines.
The prize, so let me just understand. The prize would be coming from the final, right?
Yeah, so
you wouldn't get the 2,500.
no, thank you. Yeah, you would get, let's say if we took 500 for your class project and then 2,000 for the final is an idea. This is all you guys. If you don't care, we'll just keep it as is. If you do, then I will break it apart and make it for you guys. Kevin?
Just an idea, question. Would it be at all possible saying that the winner of the class gets a 3072?
The winner of the reskinning project?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that was the other question I had. Would that be...
Yeah, I know that they would consider it. The one thing they don't want to be tied is if you win and they don't like the idea. That's why they allow you, like Caillou, she won. She doesn't have to do a joint venture agreement. She can just take her prize and say, thank you, I'm going to take this money and go build it and get 100% instead of giving you 70. And that's the case for all of you guys as well.
So is it just based on who finishes it first or the idea?
No, it's based on the idea and who. It's not a matter of finishing first. It's a matter of getting it so it can be viewed. Because last semester, a lot of people, it wasn't until after the semester was over that you could actually view it. And I'm trying to speed that up.
So it's the idea combined with...
Yeah, it's the idea. I mean, you may have the most amazing idea, but if you can't get your developer to show it on a phone, you can't compete. So, and you may have an average idea, and because you're the only person that got it there, you win the prize.
So I'm just wondering,
So, hold on.
people that are just learning, like some of us really know how to get everything done quick. So I'm just wondering if that's fair for people that are just learning and this can take time.
Well, you're right, and if you're truly motivated about it, then you can work with everyone. I mean, that's a fair question to ask, but I would throw back and say, the whole point of it is to, if you're learning, to say, okay, how can I get over that learning curve and get there sooner? Instead of, I'm going to just sit back and let Brother Wilson spoon feed me and not take any initiative on my own.
But then you'll be judging on the best idea, right?
Correct. That is correct. Matt?
Suppose we divided 25 to like the reskin and 75 to the final. Just because I feel like the reskin, there will be some advantages because they've done it before and they know like a little bit more about like what would be a good layout and stuff. While we're going for being class for the first time a little bit more.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of having two opportunities to win.
Okay. Yeah, I don't care however you divide it up. However you want to divide it up, it's up to you if you want to do it. So we're going to do it by voting here, and if majority rules. Those that want to have two competitions, raise your hand. Okay, that's everyone. Okay, do you guys want to do it 75-25?
Yeah.
Is that the percent of the prize?
That's 25% of the prize.
And the prize is...
2,500, so it's 25% of 2,500. So we're looking at 600, is that right? 625. What was that?
No, we're looking at what kind of prize.
Yeah, so what you can buy, but you could do what Nace did, where he bought a whole bunch of little things at Best Buy and then returned them. So you could do whatever you want, but we have to give you a prize. So, all right, you guys okay with that? That means it would be like 1875 for the final, and 625 for the contest. Okay. And the other thing, and this is up to the class. No, it's not. Okay. Let's jump into this. Okay. Any questions about the two contests? I'll do a write-up, put it out there. You guys can talk to me. And now let's dive into, let's see, decisions. We already talked about prizes. Deadlines. All right. I'm pretty strict on my syllabus on deadlines, but I also can be aware when you guys that the deadline might not be completely realistic. So this Thursday, you guys have phase 1. I am open to pushing phase 1 off until next Tuesday. Phase 1 means you got to do the presentation, the video, all of it. Or we can stay on task for Thursday. But in order to change that, you guys have to be in agreement with it, because I feel there's a lot of confusion around the video. The video is the first time we're introducing this. This presentation, I'll be going over and empowering you on what you need to do for the video and make it very crystal clear. And the presentation and what is exactly due on phase 1 we'll be covering as well. Are you guys okay on hitting Thursday as this next class period and doing the video in phase 1, or do you guys want to have it pushed off until Tuesday? What's that?
I'd rather do Thursday.
Thursday?
We're just doing a rough sketch of what we want to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to have video, but it's fine if it's rough. Ricky?
I would just like to push it to Tuesday just based on, because our last class you weren't very clear with our different things that we have to go through.
Yeah, we had to rush, and that's the other reason why I wanted to give you guys the option.
I'm okay with the presentation PowerPoint Thursday and then the video
Tuesday? Okay. Who wants to just have everything due Thursday? Okay, James. Who wants to have phase 1, so your idea and the presentation due Thursday and the video due Tuesday? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who wants to have everything due Tuesday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I will put that in Canvas, push it to Tuesday. I don't know. I just want you guys to know that's not something that I typically do, but I also want to make sure that I'm fair for you guys.
I noticed that you said instead of the PowerPoint, you could show your video.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean we still need to do the PowerPoint?
It's all going to be due on Tuesday. Yeah, so if I see what you're asking, for the deliverable, if you say, hey, I just want to do my video, do I have to do the PowerPoint? No, you do not. If you choose to have the video, no, that wouldn't be fair. Yes, you do. You still have to do it, but you can present it, the video as your presentation, because that wouldn't be fair to those that did both. Okay? James?
Yeah, I have a question. What if the video requires? Oh no. What if our idea requires usage of characters from Disney or something? Do we have to worry about that yet?
Yeah, great question. You don't have to worry about it for my class. You do have to, because you have to submit. It'll be part of your grade is submitting this to the competition, and then that's where you come into a problem. So if you want for the rough draft to say, this is what I've got, I'm fine. But for the competition, you can't do that. So keep that in mind. All your videos are going to be used for the competition. So if you haven't done anything other than the rough draft, it'll go in, and Devin Graham and David Archuleta and those guys will get to see it and judge it. Okay? All right.
When will that be posted? Like, will that, like, all the specifications, like, about?
This week is what the lawyers are working on stuff for us.
Okay.
So, but I'll be making it very clear and just telling you kind of what the stipulations are today. Okay? Nathan, did you have a question? Nope. Okay, so questions. This semester, you guys didn't have many questions about this. Are there any questions about your Gantt chart?
I was trying to do it and trying to figure out like the best way to put it in and the dates. And, got a little mixed up with the activity and like the date it should be due, and then coordinating the graph.
Okay. All right, so
I was thinking like you should have like phase one, like there's different parts of phase one, and there's like phase one.
you don't want to just put in phase one. You need to break out what is it required for phase one. And then over here, you're only going to be tweaking these as you do them. So when you submit it, let's say you're working on phase one and you submit it in, and you're like, okay, I have 4 items in phase one, and I'm about 25%. All the other things should be at 0. There should be 0% for anything that you have not worked on. Matt.
Whatever broke might happen to like each individual activity within phase one. The only thing that has phase one next to it is like phase one power.
That's fine.
Is that what you want?
That is.
And then would you be terribly hurt or offended if I insult certain columns? Because it says like just these numbers.
Yeah, no.
I want to put the dates in there so I know like this is the target date.
Well, that's what this is right here. But
I get that. Then
No.
look at the column.
I'm totally fine. You customize it to, in fact, what happens if you ask the people from last class, this right here and this right here, they didn't have. And I took this from students because they customized. I was like, oh, that's a good idea, because people were confused just about the numbers. The numbers here are to help build these graphs. And then John Fisitow, if you guys know him, he added this, and I was like, oh, that's also really good. So I love it. You guys customize it. And I give you extra credit if I actually say, oh, I was missing that, and I'm going to add that for next semester. So be as innovative. Make it your own. I'm not going to... This is for you. This is not as much for me. Okay? Other questions around the Gantt chart?
So I just put like the assignment name,
Yeah.
but just on one line, is that right or no?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? So, presentation.
And I didn't break it up, I just put the assignment.
You just put phase one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You'll want to go back in. So I'll go through it and say, okay, Sonia, this needs to be broken out for next time. But you're fine on this time. You're not going to get penalized because you did it that way. You just need to go into phase one and say, okay, I need to pull out the activities. Okay?
So if we break it up, I couldn't add new rows. I don't know what it was. Is that?
I think your household is possessed, because I know Leslie last time had some issues with it. Come in and I'll show you just some quick ways to add in.
Just add a row.
Just add a row or add a column. It's all doable.
I use Excel on the Mac. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And it should work, but if not, try it on one of these machines to have it work. Okay, other questions around the Gantt chart? Nope. Okay, let's talk about your video. Okay, I think this is the 900-pound gorilla for you guys. Tell me what you feel the assignment is supposed to be. Like, you guys tell me. Matt.
The short video that promotes your app.
Okay. Okay.
Like less than a minute, because no one watches anything over a minute.
Right.
It's fairly 2 or 13 minutes.
Right.
Or very 10 minutes.
So actually less than 2.5 minutes, but you can do it. It has to be at least 6 seconds, no more than 2.5 minutes. But Matt's right. The studies show that beyond 30 seconds, people drop off. Ricky?
But you're saying it doesn't have to be our app, right?
That's correct. That's the one. It's kind of unusual in what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to give you an opportunity. If you want to choose, it has to be linked to a business or an idea. Like if you want to start a business, it has to be connected to that. Okay? What else do you think about this assignment? Is there anything else that...
So this is for the final or for the reskinning?
This is... Oh, okay. Yeah, this is for the reskinning. Thank you for clarifying this. For clarifying that.
Production phase, but we will be using this video, right, for the contest? Is that what you said?
Content. Okay, yeah, we gotta define all these contests. There's 3 contests. So the third one is the Willis Entrepreneurship Center contest, and that video, whether it be for your app or for a different business, that video is going to be entered into that contest.
So my question is, can we do maybe another video
Uh-huh.
for that Willis competition? Maybe just do this video for just the...
Yeah, you just got to let me know. As long as you enter it, I don't care. You are required to enter it. And it's to push you guys beyond your comfort zone and get really familiar with this here.
Is the video promoting it or explaining it?
Yeah, thank you. That's because promoting had come up several times. What do you guys think? Is it promoting it or explaining it?
Neither, really. It's more of capturing someone's attention, and then subtly letting them know what it's about, but it doesn't really have to be about anything. It just has to be viral, it has to catch your
I would think it would be both.
Okay.
Marketing and explaining it, but in a way that it will go viral, right?
Okay. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I think the goal is just to get people to watch it, share it, and then have it in some way correlate back to your product. So someone says, what is that? Or I want to know more, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, all of these are really good. The purpose of the assignment is to tell a story. Okay, it isn't to sell your product. It is to tell a story. The whole video is telling the story and using video as the medium of telling that story. It is not to sell anything. If you can promote it in a way where it doesn't come across as promotion, and I don't even care about sharing or viral. Like, I know last time I talked to you and I was like, they had called it the viral video, and I was like, it really isn't, because you guys aren't going to be putting this out there to have it shared. All you're doing is telling a story. That's it. Is just telling a story, and what you're extracting from your mobile app or from your business is what is the story that business or that mobile app is trying to tell. So, Callie, 20 seconds, explain the mobile app that you built last semester.
Okay, I did a kids spelling word app where the parents could go in and store their weekly words, and then the kids could go in and take a test, and it would log their progress each week.
So why did you?
Because I think as parents, parents need tools for kids to help them get the daily tasks done that can be a pain, and so I think different study tools for kids is a good idea.
So ultimately, her story is she wanted to create an app to help her teach her children. That's it. And she can tell that story in any way she wants. She doesn't have to show a spelling bee and then say, look, this just made it easier for $9.99. You can get this too. That's not it. It's the frustration. We homeschool our children, and there's that frustration as a parent of, I need tools to help my children. I can't do this alone. And so trying to convey that story and know that you're like, I'm focusing on a specific group of people. Okay? So let me bring it down so it's not so theoretical. And let's turn that on. Okay. Let's talk about this. What do you guys feel makes a video so popular?
It appeals to a certain emotion, whether that's funny or sad or usually the sad, touching.
Okay. What else?
It triggers emotion.
Okay, triggers emotion. So let's go back to this. Who knows this video? By raise of hand, who knows this? Who's seen this video? cute, funny. Okay, I would say in the majority of the class, Charlie bit my finger. Ow, Charlie! Charlie bit my finger and that really hurt. Okay? These guys are now teenagers. They're almost your guys' age for some of you. What made this such a viral hit?
It's real, like, I think so many things happen in everyday life that is appealing, but we don't notice. I don't know. It's like real. It's like a lot of viral videos that I can think of. Like I think Leslie showed me one, that Kellogg's or Cheerios commercial or something. That dad is getting out of bed and the kids jumping on him and stuff, and it's like a real thing that would happen, but it's, I don't know, it's I guess the reality of it makes it appealing.
Okay? So real life, it's something we can relate to. Okay? Anything else of why you think Charlie bit my finger? I think one of the biggest scenes that isn't so much his brother, but it's actually Charlie. So he has his finger in, he's screaming, he doesn't ever take his hand out. Charlie takes it out, and then there's a pause, and then Charlie laughs. It's like, and definitely the element of like, oh wow, I didn't expect that. Plus, I think what helped it quite a bit is our affinity towards the English accent. I think that definitely played a factor into it. But there's really 3 elements that I want you to focus on. We could dissect and look at all these different things that make something popular, but there are really 3 things for the assignment that I want you to consider. Okay? For your video, I want you to look at either is it entertaining, and that's what Charlie was all about. It was funny. It was entertaining. It didn't do anything else for us. Is it inspiring? Obviously, who can think of a very popular video that has been inspiring?
The guy with no...
Yeah, I know exactly. The Australian guy has no limbs. Talked about how how hard it was, as you can imagine, with no limbs, but how he wanted to take his life and how he changed. And if there's anyone that can complain about their life, it's someone that doesn't have hands or feet. And definitely, that's inspiring. And he has his videos that are hours long and have millions of views because he's able to maintain that inspiration all the way through. TED Talks are another good example of inspiration. Any others?
The Dove ones, they always do like...
The what? Oh, Dove, yeah.
They always do the beauty or where they have
Right.
people describe themselves and then someone else describe them. Draw pictures based on it and stuff.
Yeah, 5 years ago, Dove really exposed the fashion community with magazines and how much Photoshop the people are. If they show this woman and they take her through the whole process and like the difference she looked after she was completely Photoshopped, and that went viral for sure. So the final one, to educate. What videos can you guys think of that have been shared and have millions of views that educate?
There's one where they have like a guy, he goes to get a loan from the bank, and it's kind of, it shows him, he's like telling all these just ridiculous numbers. It's like, yeah, well, we put our expenses by like $20, and then all this stuff, and then finally it's like, if you change the numbers just a little bit and add a couple zeros, that's like the U.S. government.
That's good. I haven't seen that one.
What was it? They did that the tiny cut, I can't remember what the big deal was. Do you remember they closed everything down, make it this tiny little bit? I can't. What's it called?
I don't know.
It was like maybe a year ago or 2. Yeah, when they shut it down.
Oh.
We can't do this stuff.
Right, yeah.
They're talking about how tiny the spending cut was relative to the huge budget.
To what the series said. Yeah, no, that's a really good one. Any...
I think like recipe videos, like those like really homemade ones that show don't know, my wife always.
No, but you're hitting right on it. There's the artists like that draw. So not just cooking, but drawing, where they'll often speed it up, and you see them. Or like every Saturday, I have an art class with my girls, and I can't draw worth a lick, and so we'll put on a YouTube video, and we'll take it step by step in drawing. And so definitely art. Have you guys seen where learning how to dance in 365 days, and it's like a time lapse? This girl, she shows this dance she's doing, and like the first day she is awful. Looks a lot like me. And she takes video every single day, but then she like blends it in until at the very end it's this masterpiece. So it's a time lapse of going through, and that's definitely educational. It also would fall under entertain as well, because you're seeing the personal growth.
I would think the videos also, because my wife is she's a makeup artist, is those girls that post videos of just how to do makeup.
Yeah.
They just have tons of views and stuff, how to do like little details.
Your wife has to love Pinterest. I mean, that's just natural for that. So yeah, the makeup artists are huge, because they're saying, hey, I'm going to show you how, and they have like they show what they look at the end, and then they take that video and they actually cut it and say, okay, let me take you step by step to look like this. Those are definitely great examples. Let me give you a few more. It's great to talk about them, but I think it's even better. So you guys, there's a couple things. Some of you have seen this who have come into my office, but I want you to tell me what category this falls in. First of all, who knows Khan Academy? Tell me what Khan Academy is.
Khan Academy is a free site that you can go to, and they have simple lessons on a whole bunch of different stuff, from economics to simple computer programming. Just essentially, you can teach your kids everything that they can learn at school through Khan Academy.
Yeah, so I always forget. Do you remember his name? I was calling him Eric. Yeah, it was like Somya or something like that. Khan is his last name. And he has a degree from Harvard and MIT. And his nephew one time said, Uncle, I'm really struggling with algebra. Can you help me out? And so he made a couple videos. And people started watching it because he could explain it really easily. And he talks about how he got an email from someone saying, I couldn't understand this, and because of your videos, it has changed my life. And then for the next 8 months, he made 3,000 YouTube videos about anything and everything. And Khan Academy was born, and it's completely free. It's actually valued at $1 billion because of the quality of the content, but it's 100% free. So this is a video. You guys tell me what categories it falls in. Oh, shoot. Let's pause this. And let's get the sound up.
Nobody's born smart. We all start at zero. Can't talk, can't walk, certainly can't do algebra. Adding, reading, riding a bike. Nobody's good at anything at first. There was a time when Einstein couldn't count to 10. And Shakespeare had to learn his ABCs just like the rest of us. Thankfully, we're born to learn. Slowly, surely, you stumble, slip, crawl, fall, and fail and fall. Frustrating, confusing, trying, struggling, until one day, you walk. One foot in front of the other, one idea on top of the next, each wrong answer making your brain a little bit stronger. Failing is just another word for growing, and you keep going. This is learning. Knowing that you'll get it, even if you haven't gotten it yet. Because the most beautiful, complex concepts in the whole universe are built on basic ideas that anyone, anywhere, can understand. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you only have to know one thing. you can learn anything.
Okay, talk to me about that video there. Inspiring. And what? Touching. Yeah. Tell me where their sales pitch was. Was it? Hashtag you can do anything. Was their logo there? Yes? No? Yeah, no, it gave Khan Academy there. That's the only thing that it said. You can see here it has 1.1 million views. Okay, and there's a shorter 30-second one that they did that has even more than that. So definitely inspiring, saying, wow, you know, I'm not failing, I'm growing. And, you know, their whole thing was just, you know, at the very, like, there's 2 seconds of it.
What about a video that's controversial? What would that fall into?
Just depends. You know, you can say, is it, I mean, it can fall into all 3 of them easily. Controversy definitely has its place. Just,
So I'm thinking about the video with the father, and he took his little daughter out on the first date. I don't know if you've seen that one. And it's kind of inspiring, but at the same time, it kind of caused controversy among people.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But I'm thinking, the one I thought you were going to say is the one where the father took his daughter's laptop, pulled out a handgun, and fired at it. That's definitely controversial. Unique parenting tactics. And then posting it out there, and then having her and him were having a verbal battle online for the whole world to see. Controversy still would fall under one of those 3. You know, is it something that's entertaining me? Is it something that's inspiring? Or is it something that's educating me? I don't know if I could see it completely on its own, because those 3 things still tie in. Normally, controversy catches all 3. And if you're able to do all 3, you've got a really amazing video. Okay? Also, talk to me about the quality of that video. Was that high production? No, it wasn't. If you look at it, I mean, it's like GoPro everywhere. You see, like, I mean, it's, what it is a lot of cutting and putting it together, but absolutely not high quality. All right, let's do this one. This one, I want to know, it'll be, I think, quickly, and for my last class, and if you guys have ever heard me speak about how to go viral on YouTube, you've seen this video. It's one of my favorites. But I also want to know the story here, not just what category. I can totally see my 3-year-old doing this. Okay, for those who speak Spanish, what did they say? What's that? Okay, so it was garbled. Those of us that don't speak Spanish, we have no idea, but what is it about? What's the story about? Say that again, Ricky? Cancer. It's about, we don't have to know the language to know what message they're conveying there. Okay, and what category, guys? Inspiring. Definitely inspiring to have a child like that. All right, I have 2 more for you. Who here, this is a generation before for some of you, this is my generation. Who here knows Calvin and Hobbes? Okay. Tell me, Matt, about Calvin and Hobbes.
So Calvin is this little kid, and it's a comic. And Calvin is this little kid, he has a super overactive imagination. And so, like, he'll just go throughout the day, he'll just imagine all this stuff happening. So when he's at school, he'll imagine he's spaceman, stiff, and like he has his adventures, and really, like, everyone just thinks he's weird. But then they're super funny. And Hobbs' pet is his stuffed tiger that he does everything with. And so they're really, I don't know, I think they're really funny.
Yeah, Bill Watterson is the artist. He did it while I was a teenager. Calvin was huge, huge, huge. I did not miss he was in the newspaper. I did not miss a day reading Calvin and Hobbes. And Hobbes is his stuffed tiger, but it's also his imaginary tiger. He talks to Hobbes all the time. Okay, so that's important to have that background for this next one.
Calvin, it's just a dream. Go back to bed. It felt so real, though. The house is falling apart. Calvin, stop! Calvin! When I was younger, my imagination kept me sane. I didn't have any friends, so I created one. I constructed entire planets for myself. But as I grew up, I tried to leave childish things behind. My imagination had other ideas, and my daydreams, once harmless, slowly turned into a hellish reality.
There's something wrong with Calvin.
There's always been something wrong with him.
Do you believe in the devil? A supreme evil being dedicated to the corruption and destruction of man? I'm not sure that man needs the help.
Look, where do you think these daydreams are coming from? Your imagination is part of you.
I can't control it.
Well, you have to. If these manifestations are real now, they'll tear you apart.
Any monsters under the bed tonight?
No. No.
I'd hate to have to torch one.
You have a flamethrower.
Close enough. It knows I'm growing up.
Ooh. Sorry, guys.
It's fighting back. Evolving. And I don't think I can stop it.
I'm not sure you want to.
Things are getting worse. Hobbes is gone. He's somewhere inside my mind. I've got to go after him.
Okay. So,
Thanks for meeting me.
No problem.
I like to talk about this.
That's not. So, what category? Pretty entertaining. Okay, so Gritty Reboots is 3 guys working out of their garage. Nobody ever knew about them until they did this spoof. This is not, as you could probably tell with Hobbes, that wasn't really believable. But they you could tell they put a lot of effort in this reboot, and they tapped into the fanfare of people like me now that, we're in our mid-30s and and love Calvin and Hobbes. If this was a movie, even if it was like low quality like that, I would go in a heartbeat. And so it just launched these guys because that they were able to hit a target market and make it entertaining. Okay, I'm going to give one last one. And it's nowhere near as long. And I apologize about that hanging one. If I had seen that, I wouldn't have shown that. If I had remembered it, I should say. Okay. Hold on. I want to get to this part. Okay. What do you feel that falls in? Inspiring, educating. Okay. And then here, this is important as well, and we'll talk about this in a second. So that video you just saw, I created on Saturday at TVA. So the redheaded girl and the one next to her where she's holding a smile are my 2 daughters. And literally this video, what took me the longest part was not the editing or anything like that. It was finding the facts about orphans. And I was originally going to just talk over it and have those facts, but I just figured it would be much quicker in doing it that way. So the whole reason why I wanted to show you just how easy it is to do a video. For how many have never created a video for YouTube? Or let me rephrase that. Okay, that's fine. I've never created a video for YouTube. Okay, so almost all of the class. Yeah. Lucky for you, we have some things to help you out. Okay, one of the best ways. How many have created a video for YouTube? Okay, I had 3. Okay, so CJ, what do you use when you create your videos? Yeah, or just what do you do? What do you use? What camera? What editing tool?
Back in Okinawa, we just used the basic one that came with the Mac. It was just like I don't know what you call it.
iMovie? Is that what you're talking?
I think it was iMovie.
Okay.
We just took a lot of videos just using the regular one.
Okay.
Very basic.
Okay. It has never been easier to create video than in your guys' generation. It's absolutely amazing. So what we have done at the Entrepreneur Willis Center is we've gone and purchased 5 iPod 5th generation, so the latest iPod for you to use. So that video you saw was completely, and you could probably tell because it was a little shaky, was completely with my iPhone. And then there's a mobile app called iMovie. Dead simple, absolutely dead simple. That you guys can check out the iPod, go do your video. It'll have several apps. It won't just have the iMovie. There's some things that iMovie doesn't do really well, I feel. And you can do all of it on the iPod. So if you're interested in doing something like that, where you're using that tool, just come to my office and we'll check it out for you. You can check it out for 24 hours so that we can make sure that other people have that access. But I am telling you, it is super, super easy to do these days, to put in music, to put in text, like all of that. If you take out the fact of like, oh, I needed the content is what's going to take you the longest. And that's the easiest part to do, meaning that doesn't take any high tech to storyboard and say, okay, I want to have this, and I want to make this, my video to look like this. That's just, typing it out, writing it down. The other thing is around music, and James had brought this up. If you're using, you can't use copyrighted material. So Disney characters, you can use it for the class because it's just for educational purposes, which is fine, but a competition isn't for educational purposes. A place that I really like to get music is freemusicarchive.org. It depends, like you got to click on the song. So I chose the song That Kid in 4th Grade Who Really Liked the Denver Broncos by Chris Zabrowski, which is funny because I'm from Denver and my whole family, true blue Denver Bronco fans. But this is, if you're going to do that, you need to give credit to, if you're going to use images that are not your own, but they're under the Creative Commons, and they'll tell you, you'll see a CC, you need to put it as a credit at the end of your movie. So a great place to get free, if you want to insert a picture, is Pixabay. So pixabay.com. These guys don't even require you to have a citation, but I do. Because you guys need to just be in the habit of giving credit to artistic value. But Pixabay are all free pictures you can use commercially. You could actually print that off and put it on a t-shirt and sell it and not have to give rights to the person who took the picture. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, this is a really, really cool site. You just need to see what license the artist. So Chris basically said I could use it for what, even commercially, without, as long as I gave him credit. And so that's, you guys can think of different ways of how you want to do it, but if you're a little hesitant, come into my office. Let's check out an iPod and just go play around with it. It's super easy and fun to play with. I have someone who's going to come in Thursday, and they're much more technical than I'm a Mac, just point and shoot. You could see that was not a high quality video, and that's pretty much what you're striving for. It was a minute long, a little under a minute, and you're just trying to tell a story. Guys, that's all you're doing. How you do that is completely up to you. And is that story entertaining? Is it inspiring, or is it educational? And if you can get 2 out of the 3, you're doing really good. If you get 3 out of the 3, I highly recommend posting it to YouTube and sharing it with your friends. Do you have a question, James? Okay. Oh, ask now. I'm sure there's... Okay. Okay, well, you need to have it. Ricky?
What's that Creative Commons there?
The Creative Commons, thank you. Creative Commons, who's familiar with Creative Commons? Well, that's a good question to ask then. Creative Commons is, you have different levels of, it's a copyright rule, not necessarily a law. Well, it is, but it's a rule. You have different levels of copyrights. If you see Creative Commons, that pretty much means it's an open copyright, meaning you can use it, and there's 3 levels of Creative Commons. You can say you can use it, but you can't modify it, and you can't use it commercially, but you can use it for everything else. Or you can use it, you can modify it, but you can't use it commercially, or you can use it, modify it, and use it commercially. So Chris had given where it's the last one. You can use it, you can modify it, and you can use it commercially. Creative Commons is the great way to go, and this just links to what sort of license it is. This you don't necessarily have to have, but you do have to have up here where the name of the song, the artist, and where you found it, because that will tie into the Creative Commons.
You said there's several different apps for editing on the iPod.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put those apps online like this?
Yes, I can. If you'll send me a message on Canvas, I will do that. And if you guys know of other ones as well on the iOS, so in Apple, we will, if it costs money, we will purchase them and put them on there. But there's some just little ones, but iMovie will do like 90% of what you're looking for. In iMovie, you can do trailers. They have like little themes that you can use. It's at first you may like, I don't really understand this, but luckily they have helps where they're like, oh, this is how you get to the sound. You gotta, when I was first playing with it, I was like, okay, I've looked at everything, but I didn't realize you had to double tap to get to the sound. It's not, we're such a website world where I'm like, I clicked everywhere and I can't get there. So you run into a wall with it, come talk to me. But we have the devices for you guys to use. These are devices you will also have for when we do the mobile apps. So who doesn't have an iOS device? Okay, so you guys can come into my office, check out one of the iPods, and we can download your app and you can test it from there. Okay? All right. Any questions about this? I felt this gave us some adequate time to help describe what you needed to do. Do you guys feel clear about this? Are you still uncomfortable? What are your thoughts, Kevin? Tuesday. It is due Tuesday. All of it. Other questions? What's that?
I'll come see you later.
Good. And that's something I want you guys, I can't stress this enough. Come talk to me if you don't understand. You guys are my number one priority. I only have one other class, and it's super easy class. You guys are it. You're not bothering me. You can email me, anything. And I know you guys have heard me say this before. I just can't stress it enough. And I have no tolerance for students who come and give me excuses who didn't come talk to me. They're like, I didn't understand, and I had a month to work on this, and I never came and talked to you. I won't give you any leeway on it because I'm here almost 13 hours a day. So you have complete access to me. Did you have a question, James? All right. Now let's talk about who here has come up with an idea of what app they're going to create. Kevin? Lance? What's that? The reskinning. Now we're just talking reskinning. We're not talking about the final. So far, 2 from the class, 3 from the class. All right, Ricky. He didn't take the class, so that's good. Anyone else? Leslie, I know you do as well.
So this reskinning, we would have to look at different apps, right?
Yeah. Yep. Look in the production document. I have a little form of what you're going to be looking at, the strength and weaknesses of these apps. You have to look at 2 that are around what you want to do, and a 3rd that's nowhere near what you want to do. Why did I throw that 3rd in?
For the competition.
Okay, for the competition, that's a good answer. Leslie? Yeah, and that's exactly it. The 3rd, I don't care what it is. I don't want it to be close to your Reskin app, but I want you to become familiar with what is out there and be like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And hopefully it will, like Kevin said, help you with the final as well. But, and like I said, those that don't have iOS devices, if you want to download those and take a look, come in, okay? All right, so let's talk about what sort of ideas do you guys, and I'm really actually annoyed because I had a handout for you and I ran out without it. But let me give you, let's see if I can pull this up quickly. I should give you guys a break. I feel you guys are having fatigue. Okay, so this right here I will put on Canvas, but I want to talk about, so this is pretty much your project here, and this outlines kind of the restraints and the things that you should focus on. First of all, I've been telling you guys 10,000 apps, and I was like, I am not quite sure where I got that statistic. And so I went and dug in, and as of July of this year, there was 1.2 million apps in the App Store, averaging about 60,000 apps each month. So if you break that down, that's actually about 2,000 apps that are being published to the App Store. Still very significant. This right here talks about the reskinning process, and thanks to Matt, he gave a great example of what a reskinned app looks like. So let's see, an example would be Angry Birds. Due to the popularity of the game, many reskinned apps have popped up. You have Angry Frogs, Bad Piggies, Cut the Birds, even Angry Birds with a Z. And you won't be doing this, by the way. You're going to come up with something entirely original. Like, I've played Bad Piggies. It has the same sort of gameplay, meaning, you know, you're throwing pigs and stuff like that, but the design is completely different and it has a different title. You are not creating knockoff Prada, okay? That is not the class. So you're not going and just finding something and taking their UI and their name and all of that. That is not what we're doing, which is exactly what those guys did. All right, so there are 5 things that you need to consider when you are thinking of your app. The first one here, reflected. So up here it talks about you guys are going to be consultants, and even those that are doing their own, these guidelines for the most part, you have to follow as well. So you're considered a mobile app consultant to Reflective Practices. They have retained your services to create a reskinned app. And then here's some of the guidelines. They're looking for profitable and successful reskinned apps. You want to avoid small markets. We talked about this. Doing an app for BYU Hawaii isn't going to work, or Laie. You need to think a little bit bigger. Due to time restraints, you got to avoid complex apps. Give me some examples of complex apps. Games, and that's actually there. Creating a video game. What else? Right, you're hitting the second one there. Yes. So, explain more of that.
So like, when the app has to be told exactly where to go and what to grab and stuff, so it makes it more difficult. And so, my example is Groupon, so it has to contact all the people in there or go to the server to update and then bring it back. And so it's constantly being back and forth, trying to get updates and stuff like that. So that's it.
Right. Yeah, so you got to avoid, it's called a web service. If, for instance, last semester, John Fisatow created a financial app that just broke down all the financial aspects of accounting and bookkeeping. And all his developers are like, well, what server are you pulling this information? And he's like, no, I'm giving you all the information. It will be found what is called locally on the app. So you cannot create an app that requires you to connect to the internet and pull information. That doesn't mean you can't create an app that shares stuff onto Facebook or Twitter, but it does mean if there's data, you can't go and pull that. Leslie's, hold on one second, I'll let you, Leslie created an app where she scraped some data from a website, and normally that can be fairly complex, but due to the fact that it was the church, I permitted it. But so if you have something, you're welcome to talk to me, and I'm willing to look at it. But 98% of the time, I'm going to say no. And one of the reasons I said yes, two actually reasons I said yes to Leslie is, one, she's doing it on her own, and two, I've created an app very, very similar to what she's doing, and so I know the process. And simply because it's the church. But if anything beyond that, I will probably say no. Leslie, did that answer your question? Okay. All right. Let's see. Number 3. Here, as a consultant, it is your job to save your client money. With this project, there isn't a set budget, but any project that are too costly will be terminated by Reflective Practices. Last semester, the average, it says a little over 1,000. The average was about 1,200. And I think I shared that with you guys before. I'm doing everything I can I'm really good at showing you tips and tricks on how to bring the cost down. And so the budget that I've kind of set, even though Reflective Practices hasn't, is 2,000. If you're going over 2,000, we probably won't do the project. And Leslie, since you were the only one that did it last time on your own, what were some of, as you were doing it yourself, because it was your own money, were there things that you decided not to do? Or like, what were some of the stuff some of the decisions that you made to save you money? To put you on the spot, Leslie.
Well, I would try to bargain, just best as I could, local, and also I was trying to find a developer. Yeah, I was just trying to be really cautious with that and try to, I guess, lowball it as much as I could.
Yeah. I want you guys to treat this as if this was your own money. It's not, but I know Leslie was much more concerned on what she was paying her developer than probably most of the class. And so as you approach it that way, you know, I've been a consultant, and I've been a consultant for billion-dollar companies, and sometimes it's just easy to throw money everywhere because it's not your money. But in the end, as a consultant, when you can say, look, I gave you a cost savings of this, the longevity of your job is going to not be in question, because they can see that you have the company in mind. But with that said, I'm willing to consider everything that comes. And you can talk to the students from last semester. I'm pretty good at looking at the project and saying it should be this much. And the one place where I stepped on what I call a landmine was one of the students. I was like, your app should come in about 12 to 1,300. And a developer came in and said, I'll do it for 600. And he met all the requirements that you'll learn about in order to choose a developer. And my gut said, don't do it. Don't do it. That's the forbidden fruit. It's way too low. There's no way he can do it that low. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's the one app from last semester that is a total disaster and nightmare. And so even apps that were, you know, if they go that low, we will probably throw them out. We want to make sure that it comes in about right. Okay, questions about any of those three there?
Is this just for the reskin? Like, say the
Yeah.
final,
Mm-hmm.
we had like an app idea that was...
Yeah, you can make it as complex. You're not building it for the final. You're only sharing the idea. So, you know, complexity's fine. One of the runner-ups from last semester did a video game, and he obviously got a joint venture agreement with the company. So all of that is thrown out. If it's a good idea, what's going to happen is you're going to be spending a lot of time refining it and looking at it and seeing and saying, okay, do I have a chance to win with this? It's going beyond just, oh, can I get an A? It's like, what can I do to win?
So I noticed there's obviously a lot of runner-ups. So is that just essentially there's no cap on how many runner-ups there can be? If they like your idea, they'll give you a game.
Potentially. There's some caveats to it that the runner-ups, well, since we have some of the runner-ups here. Yeah, so the first semester we had one runner-up. The second semester we had two runner-ups. Last semester we had four. And that should show you also the quality of what they had a hard time deciding. But those four, one reason they may not choose the joint venture agreement is to say, well, because we are running at capacity, we have to do what we call pipelining, saying we'll sign the agreement, but it'll probably be 6 months before we can even start working on it. So, whereas the winner, they'll be put in right away and get going on it. So for those that are in here that won, that's something you'll want to consider if you want to do it or not. All right, finally, oh wait, no. Number 4, familiarity. I gave an example here. Even though you have an app that you're copying, doesn't mean that you shouldn't pick something you don't know. So if you don't know anything about the stock market, don't do the stock market, okay? If you don't know anything about sports or dance or hair salons or whatever, don't do it around that. Do something that you are familiar with so that when the developers, where most of them, if not all of them, English is not their first language, have a bunch of questions, you can answer them. Now finally, quality is the key to your success. One thing that I want you to encourage you is, this is going to have your name on it. Even though this is being pushed out by my company, we have where we give you as much credit as possible so that you can show it, you can put it on your resume, you can be proud about it. So doing a simple or just an app to say, I want to get it done, won't fly, and Reflective Practices reserves the right to reject your idea. So make sure that you have a solid idea. Talk to me. I can't stress that enough because I can help you refine that as well. Do you guys have questions around any of these 5? I'll have this on Canvas. Just kind of explains just the general rules around it.
For like the stock app kind of thing, stock markets and like the Forex, like how complex are those type of apps?
Like the stock or what?
Like the stocks or like the Forex? Or like
Yeah, it would require you pulling from a different. You couldn't have that locally on the app. So I would say complex. It's not really that complex, but it's more complex than what we can do in this semester. But yeah, I mean, I can see why you would want to hit that, particularly Forex. All right.
What's the most complex app that anyone ever created in this class?
Since we've only had one semester doing this, I would probably say either Leslie's. Leslie's was pretty complex. But again, I knew that she would go beyond the class. Hers is pulling videos from LDS.org, children videos. So you have a lot of video around it, and she had to make sure she had the right developer for that. Or Naces. Naces was pretty complex. To me, he's, in a lot of ways, building like an iMovie knockoff. He's taking where you can add in video, pictures, and music and create a presentation. And so that one's pretty complex. But he already has 2 other projects with us, and he's doing a lot with us. And so I knew that if he didn't finish with it, I could say, hey, you need to get this done. So that's a great question. The most complex that I've done is for a home company, a home builder's company, where we were pulling from all these different websites, pulling all of the homes they have for sale. You could leave notes, you could share it, you could contact, but we were pulling from 4 or 5 different databases that we were creating where they could figure out what their mortgage would be, so we had a lot of calculators on there. And for that app, I shared this, it cost us about $4,500, but it would have cost about $125,000 if you had just reached out to someone in the States to build it. So $4,500, so $4,500 is how much it cost my company to build it.
What did you charge them for it?
So we didn't. We did a partnership with them on it, but I wanted them to understand the value of it, and so I reached out to our competitors and posed as a client saying, can you give us a bid? And they came in, all of them came in over $100,000. So there was a little under, but about that. Probably just shy of 50 apps. So there, with search engine optimization, there's some value in apps, and so we, for a time, punched out a lot of mobile apps, and then we've done a lot of client apps, and then with the current company I'm with, I'm working on an additional 20 apps on top of there. So probably 30 outside of reflective practices and 20 within it. So
there's also like the app optimization where
yeah, ASO.
There's such a thing like that, right?
There is. Yeah, there is. And unfortunately, that's a whole nother class. You know, we could spend all our time optimizing our apps.
Can you talk about digital point or what you can do with that? Because I see that like day-to-day, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I can do that. So Digital Point, tell me about Digital Point. We got 5 minutes. We won't actually hit these again, so that's okay. This is my first app I ever created I was going to show. This is important to help you guys look at apps. Quickie, this is probably one of the best search engines at looking at apps. And you have to do /search. If you do it without it, you won't, they don't, for some reason you can't click to get to their search. It's really weird. So, and I should change iPhone, iPad to the center's iPhone. Okay, tell me about Digital Point. There's many of you who have done the assignment. There are those of you from last class. What is it?
Well, I didn't do the assignment, but I'm very familiar with the forum. So in fact, I'm still on it. But it's just a forum. It's like an internet marketing forum when I first went on it. But it's just a forum where everything you do online. Like you have like developers on there. You have people who market stuff. You have people who different aspects of online thing, but there's like guides and different tutorials for certain areas of whatever you want to do or interested in, but it's just basically a forum.
It is. It's the way the internet was in the 90s is really what it is. So a place to bring it more up to date, kind of a place to have conversations, a little bit like chatting, but not real time chatting. So the point of Digital Point, Matt, is you guys have to get 15 comments on there. And why do we want 15? At least for your first assignment. You actually have to get 45 comments. But why? What's the whole point of this?
To be allowed to do that content?
Yeah, so there's a section on Digital Point that are called design contests. And it's crowdsourcing, and we'll talk all about it, but they won't let you actually do the contest unless you have 3 likes. So a like is where you leave a comment, and someone comes along and they say, oh, that's funny, I like that. And it's just like Facebook, they press like. Once you got 3 of those, you're done. You don't have to do all 45. Like Philip was telling me yesterday, you have what, 17? 17 comments? Yeah, so he went and did a few extra, and he's like, I already got 3 likes. So he's done. He doesn't have to go and do more. The exercise is to get likes. It's not to leave comments. So that's why I say you can pick anything and write about anything on there. They have stuff where you can talk about movies. They have stuff where you can talk about religion. A major part of it, and why it's the biggest webmaster forum, is because of what Ricky said of online marketing. They have just tons and tons and tons. You can talk about Google, Yahoo, you can talk about paid search, all of it. And if you're into that, definitely go over there. You can also create your own question, which is a great way to get a whole bunch of your own comments, where you can say, what is your favorite music to fall asleep to? And everyone posts it and they like it, and it's a really quick and dirty way. So you need to do that. The first one is, I've broken it up because last semester they had to do 50, and I just required it at one chunk. You have to have all 50. I gave them a month, and they hated it. So the feedback from them was to break it up and do it one at a time. So you have 3, and you only have to do 45. Does that make sense to you guys? One thing I want to point out, particularly with you two, do not log into her computer with yours. If you have more than one account, Digital Point may ban you for 6 months. And that'll make it very hard for you to do design. Okay? So if your spouse or significant other has an account, that's why when you guys come into my office, I won't let you log into my computer. Because I've already been banned once for 6 months, and that was right in the middle of my business of doing it, using it, and that wasn't good. So. Okay, that's a great question. Other questions? Okay, if you're struggling on coming up with an idea for your mobile app, come into my office. I feel my secret power is taking an idea and really helping it grow wings and create something that you're really interested in. Okay? All right.